is Philip Davis, and these are my friends and family. Fly fishing is more than just throwing a lure out into an open body of water. It's an art form. Anyone can take a regular fishing pole and learn how to fish in minutes. Fly fishing takes practice just like any other art form, but more specifically, I would like to talk about my fly rod. I got my first fly rod when I was about 12 years old, when my father gave it to me. And I would spend hours upon hours outside trying to learn how to cast and perfect my technique. But it wasn't until my dad and I went fishing one day that I began my passion. Because you see, we'd go fishing and he would catch double the fish that I would, because he was using a fly rod and I was using a normal pole. And I would get discouraged because when I tried, I wasn't doing anywhere near what he was. And so I started to practice more, and thus began my passion. Fly fishing has been a favorite pastime for centuries now. In Josephine Campbell's book titled Fly Fishing, she gave a brief history of the fly rod. And according to Campbell, back in England in 1496, this was the first time a fly rod was mentioned. The English created the fly rod and is now used by anglers all over the world. When the British first came to the Americas, they found a vast expansion of land that had been untouched by the sport, and so the passion began. But what characteristics define a fly rod? See, a fly rod and a normal conventional rod, such as a spinning rod, there aren't that many things different between the two, except with a fly rod you hold your hand above the reel, because the reel is not as important as it is with a spinning rod. With a spinning rod, that you hold your hand below the reel so you can tackle the fish while you're reeling it in. A fly rod can typically be anywhere between 7 and 9 feet long, while a normal conventional rod is around 6.5 to sometimes 8 feet long. There are two types of fly rods though. The conventional one, like I'm holding now, and no, this is not the normal size of it, it's just a piece of it. A typical fly rod comes in multiple pieces, between 2 and 8 pieces, and then you have a reel. You put all these pieces together and the reel on it, and then you have a fly rod. A conventional fly rod first got its origins in England. The second type of fly rod is called a tenkara, and unlike the conventional rod, it is retractable instead of different pieces. And this type of fly rod came from Japan. But unlike a normal fishing rod, instead of reeling in the fish with the reel, you pull it in by hand while holding the line with one hand and pulling it in with the other. Which is why I personally think that a fly rod is more fun than any other type of fishing. Because even the small fish put up a fight when you're fighting it by hand. I think Blake Pond said it best in his book Outdoor Adventures when he states, fly fishing is a peaceful form of an outdoor sport. It requires skill and patience. Because fly fishing is not something that you can just pick up overnight, it requires countless hours of practice to be proficient at it. Here's some few pictures of me after I've been fly fishing. Not the greatest in the world, but I try. In closing, fly fishing has been a part of my life for many years now, and is one of my favorite hobbies. The fly rod is the most essential item one would need to get started. Using a fly rod is a form of art, and it does take patience, practice, and determination. Anyone can learn how to do it, though. You just have to take the time to try.